Students, now we are going to derive an expression for the radius of the nth Bohr orbit for a hydrogen atom. So you can see that in general any atom is having a positively charged nucleus whose charge is Ze. Z is the atomic number of the atom and E is the electron. It is having a minus negative charge, so minus E, and it is revolving around the nucleus in circular path of radius Rn. Depending upon how much energy it has, the radius of the orbit may vary. So at the ground state, that is when the energy is least for the electron, it will be in the shortest distance. This shortest radius when n is equal to 1 only is called the Bohr's orbit. Now in its orbit, nth orbit, let Vn be the velocity of the electron. Okay students? So now we are going to derive an expression for the radius of the orbit of the electron. Now to start with, I will write the expression for the forces experienced by the electron. Now the electron is negatively charged and the nucleus is positively charged. So there will be a Coulomb force or electrostatic force of attraction between the two charges. So I will write the expression for the Coulomb force. So the Coulomb force is in vector form I will write. So this is Coulomb force. This Coulomb force is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the charge of the nucleus is positive, the charge of the electron is negative, and it is a distance square is Rn square. Since it is in vector form, this is in vector form, I should represent this into the unit vector r cap. So what is the magnitude of this force? Modulus, the modulus of this vector is the magnitude of the force. So F Coulomb in magnitude, this is equal to Ze square. So this is equal to Ze square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into Rn square. So this is a scalar. First one is a vector. The second equation is in scalar form because it is a magnitude of the vector. Similarly, when the electron is revolving in a circular path, a centripetal force will be experienced by the electron. So the centripetal force I will write in vector form first. So this is a centripetal. This centripetal force is equal to mass of the electron m into v square n divided by Rn, mv square by r, and this is in vector form I have written. Understand students? So this is into r cap. I will write this is into r cap. Now the magnitude of this F centripetal. So I will rewrite this in the scalar form. The centripetal force in magnitude will be equal to m Vn square divided by Rn. Okay. So that I am going to equate the Coulomb force with the centripetal force because the electron is in dynamic equilibrium. So for dynamic equilibrium I will write this is for dynamic equilibrium. These two forces are equal. Therefore I will write now Ze square. So Ze square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. This is now equal to mv square divided by r. We need an expression for this radius of the nth orbit Rn. So here after this how you have to proceed I will tell you. Only this Rn term you shift to the left hand side and all other terms you shift to the right hand side. That is a clue for the next step. So I am taking this Rn to the left hand side. So Rn is equal to, so this term will be remaining there only. So this is mvn square into this 4 pi epsilon naught. So this 4 pi epsilon naught into this Rn square divided by, what is the term which is coming here is Ze square. So this is equal to, I will now group the terms. So this is m v square Rn square. So this is m v square into Rn square into 4 pi epsilon naught divided by z e square. Is that e square? Okay. Now I am going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the mass of the electron m. So if I will multiply the numerator, already one m term is there, will it become m square? Yes, it will become m square. So the first term is right side m square v n square r n square into 4 pi epsilon naught divided by m z e square. So I have multiplied on both sides, okay, numerator and denominator by the mass of the electron m. Okay students, now you see that m square v square r square is m v r the whole square, m v r the whole square. Understood? So this is now equal to, this is equal to m v n r n the whole square. Is it not? Is it m v r n the whole square into 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi epsilon naught divided by m z e square. Now you see what is mvr. M into v is linear momentum, mvr is equal to the angular momentum. Is it not? We have studied Bohr's postulate. So from Bohr's postulate, this mvr is equal to L. That is angular momentum in the nth orbit. So L suffix n I can write. So mvr is equal to L. Is it not? And this is also equal to nh by 2 pi. We have already studied that nh cross also. So this also can be written as what? nh cross. This is equal to nh by 2 pi. So this is the Bohr's postulate. So instead of mvr the whole square, I can write nh by 2 pi the whole square. Understood? So now left hand side Rn, therefore Rn is now equal to mvr the whole square is L square, that is equal to nh by 2 pi the whole square. So this is n square h square by 4 pi square. So 2 pi the whole square is 4 pi square. So this term is over. Into 4 pi epsilon naught is there. Into 4 pi epsilon naught is remaining. Divided by m z e square is there. So divided by m z e square. Have you understood? Now which terms get cancelled? Let us see. This 4 is getting cancelled with this 4. Then this pi square, power 2 can be cancelled with this pi. Therefore, the remaining term Rn is equal to epsilon naught n square h square divided by m z e square. This pi m. Okay, so this is pi m z e square. I will highlight this equation. This equation is very, very important in competitive exams. Understand that? Now, in this equation, I will rewrite Rn is also equal to epsilon naught h square divided by pi m into e square. What are the remaining terms? I will put it in a bracket. N square by z. So, into n square divided by z I will write. Now, epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. H is Planck's constant. These two are constants. Pi is already a constant. Mass of electron and charge of electron are constants. So, if you substitute the values in this equation, means I can also write this Rn is equal to the product of these constants will be some other constant that is denoted by A naught into n square divided by z. So this is also another shortcut equation for solving the numerical problems in the NEET and the IIT entrance exams, where this A naught is equal to in place of this, what we have substituted is epsilon naught h square divided by pi m into E square. So I told you, if you substitute the values, what you will get, this is equal to 0.529 angstrom unit. So this is nearly equal to 0.53 angstrom unit. This only is called as the Bohr's radius. So this is called as the Bohr's radius, and the value of the bracket I am going to rewrite here. Now if you consider hydrogen atom means, see, for hydrogen atom, atomic number Z is equal to 1. Z is equal to 1. Therefore, what is the radius of the nth Bohr orbit? Rn is equal to A naught into n square. So this is again another very important equation for solving the MCQs. So this n, if n is equal to, n is equal to 1 means then R1 is equal to A naught, and that is equal to how much? 0.53 angstrom unit. Suppose if you take n is equal to 2, the second orbit, if you take the second orbit means then R2 is equal to A naught into 2 square. So this is equal to A naught into 4, so that this is equal to 0.529 into 4 angstrom unit. So this is in angstrom unit. So if you multiply this means it will come as 2.116 angstrom unit. So that nearly this can be equal to what? 2.12 angstrom unit. Like that. So next one is I will take n is equal to 3. So if n is equal to 3, then what is the radius? R3, the radius of the third orbit is equal to A naught into 3 square. So that this is equal to A naught into 9. If you multiply this means, so this is what? 0.529 into 9. So if you multiply this means, you will get nearly 7 point. If you calculate means it is, I will calculate and tell you now using the calculator. So I am going to calculate the number 4.7 nearly it is coming. Okay. So I will write this is nearly equal to 4.72 angstrom unit is coming. So as the electron's orbit, the radius is increasing, no, you can see that it is directly proportional to n square. So if you take the ratio of R1 is to R2 is to R3, then this will be equal to what? 1 square is to 2 square is to 3 square. The first 3 Bohr orbits I have taken. R1 is to R2 is to R3 is equal to 1 square is to 2 square is to 3 square. So that this is equal to 1 square is 1 is to 2 square is 4 and 3 square is 9. Suppose if you take R4, then here it is 4 square. So this is 4 square is 16. Now, what is the minimum radius of the electron in the orbit only is called as the Bohr's radius, or this A naught. In this A naught is equal to 1 Bohr. This is also called as 1 Bohr. So in nuclear physics you must have heard 1 Fermi. 1 Fermi is what? The diameter of the nucleus. Is it not? Like that 1 angstrom unit is what? The diameter of an atom. 10 power minus 10 meter. Like that 1 Bohr is now equal to how much? 0.53 angstrom unit, a new unit. Okay students, now you can look at the orbit. What is the shape of the orbit? The shape of the orbit is circular, is it not? The shape of the orbit is circular. So we want to find the area of the orbit. So what is the area of a circle we want to find out? So if A1 and A2, so this is A1 is equal to pi into R1 square. A2, area of the second orbit. Area of the second orbit is equal to what? Pi into R2 square. Similarly, the third orbit is pi into R3 square. So, as the radius increases, now the area of the orbit also increases. It is spreading out. Now, this question also is asked in the competitive exams. So, the ratio of the areas, okay students, the ratio of area of the orbits, and here it is A1 is to A2 is to A3. So this is equal to R1 square is to R2 square is to R3 square. So this is already R1 is to R2 is to R3 is what? 1 is to 4 is to 9. So that this is 1 square is to 4 square is to 9 square. So that this is equal to 1 is to 16 is to 81. So these two questions, the ratio of the radii of orbits and the ratio of the area of orbits will be regular question in all the competitive exams like NEET and IIT. I hope you have understood. Let us meet to the next video for the energy of the electron in the orbit.